Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin and I have a lot of updates and things to show you this week. So first of all, was it just last weekend? It was last weekend. I went to see the Eras Tour concert, Eras Tour concert movie at the movie theater with some friends, which is why I am wearing my finished cardigan that I made for that. If you didn't watch the vlog for this specific cardigan, there is a full one on my channel where I listened to every single Taylor Swift album while I was working on this cardigan. If you're not familiar with Taylor Swift stuff, there is a cardigan mentioned in one of her songs on the album Folklore, and the cable knit cardigan kind of became a merch item that she put out. People were recreating it. There was originally a specific Folklore one, but now she is releasing designs for all of her albums for the sweater. I believe the 1989 one just came out the day that I'm filming this. So the cable knit cardigan has become kind of a subtle Taylor Swift association item, if that makes sense. So I made my own to wear to the movie, but I have more details about how I made it and all that stuff on the dedicated vlog to this project, so you can check that out if you want more details about this sweater. But I absolutely loved seeing the movie. It was so much fun to go with friends, and I was really amazed by how incredible Taylor's stage performance is. I had never seen her in concert before, obviously. I had seen clips of her on TikTok and stuff like that, but watching the whole thing from start to finish was a really cool experience. And she and her team, I'm not sure how the distribution works there, but everyone who put together the Eras Tour, like stage lighting and special effects and costumes, just made it a really cool overall experience. So if you're interested at all, I highly suggest that you check it out. It was very fun to watch, even as a relatively new Taylor Swift fan, so I definitely enjoyed that. But I figured if you did watch the original vlog about this project, you deserved an update that I did actually go see the movie. It was tons of fun. So, other exciting news, I hit 3,000 subscribers, so thank you everyone who subscribed over the course of my YouTube journey. It was really cool to see that number finally pop up, and looking forward to the next 1,000 subscribers as well. If you're not subscribed and you're watching this video, make sure that you click that subscribe button down below. I post twice a week, and hopefully we can keep that up. The reason why I'm not sure if I can is because I have gone back to full-time teaching to cover a maternity leave, so my filming schedule might get a little wonky from here on out. We'll just have to experiment with what schedule works best, because I can no longer film during the normal day. I have to do it after school or on the weekends, which is why this episode is being filmed on a Saturday, which, if you've watched old podcasts, Monday used to always be my filming day for podcasts, but now it's on Saturdays. And I've also been pairing my podcasts, so one of them is like just kind of a general updates, what I'm working on, all that stuff, and then the one following it will be a themed episode, so it'll be a specific topic that I'm covering. So today is just a normal catch-up one where I can show you all my projects, everything I'm working on, all that good stuff. I think those were all of the announcements I had. Hopefully by the time you're seeing this, I also had a bonus video go up this week. That was new for me, but I wanted to squeeze one more Halloween video in there. But as of the point of filming this podcast, I have only filmed half of it, so I don't actually know yet if I got it to work or not. So if there's no video from this past Monday, you know I couldn't film it, but I think it'll work out. So let's dive into some finished objects. First of all, obviously, the cardigan is finished. It was a little stressful to get it done in time for the movie, but I'm glad I finished it because I think it's a piece that I'll wear throughout the winter, especially the holiday season, because even though the cable cardigan is a Taylor Swift thing now, it's also just a classic like holiday cold weather staple. So I'm really glad that I finally finished it. the movie just gave me kind of a fun reason to do it, but it was something that I've wanted to knit for ages. The yarn has been in my stash for like 2 years now. So it was just time to actually do the thing and make the sweater. Some other finished objects. I can't actually remember if I showed this guy in a podcast, but he does have his own vlog. Well, she, I guess, because her name is Nessie. But this is the Loch Ness Monster amigurumi that I made, hopefully for an upcoming craft fair. I have 2 potential craft fairs in December that I was given details about, but I haven't heard anything further from either of them. So I'm kind of making a couple items just to add to my stock, but not anything crazy until I actually hear back from them. But this is the Loch Ness Monster from the book that I think I've shown a bunch of times at this point, but it is the A Crochet World of Creepy Creatures and Cryptids. I've been kind of slowly working through some of the patterns in this book because one of the craft fair events I'm going to, or might be going to, has a crowd coming that might appreciate some more funky items instead of my like typical craft fair setup, so I'm trying to include some cryptids in there. But this was the Loch Ness Monster. I do really like how it turned out, and I had fun doing the body construction because it is in so many pieces. So you do the head first, then you make the like neck and front of the body, then you make the back of the body, then the tail, and then the fins. So the construction was really interesting on this one. I don't think I've ever seen a body shaped quite like that, where the neck and the front part are one piece and then it splits off here. So that was very interesting. I've also been loving these kawaii safety eyes that I got on Amazon a couple months ago, I think at this point. But I actually finished a second amigurumi from that book, and this one also got its own vlog, so you can check that out on my channel as well. But I decided to make the jackalope pattern, and this one, I really love how it turned out. The little face. Let's just take a moment for that little face. It's so cute. I had a lot of fun making this one, even though I was a little pressed for time, because I started filming the vlog for this. Today is Saturday, so started filming the vlog for it on Wednesday, thinking that I'd be able to finish it Thursday during the day. And Thursday was when I got the call that they needed me to come into school for the maternity leave spot. So finished it Thursday after school, just in time to get it edited and uploaded for Friday. Thursday was a crazy day. Friday was also a crazy day, but that's for different reasons. But the jackalope is here. He got finished. This one's really, really cute. I mentioned this in the vlog for this item too, but I think the body shaping of this plushie could be swapped in for a lot of other items. I think it'd be really easy to make a teddy bear by using the same body construction and just making different ears. I think it also could be very cute as like a hamster or something like that. But I just really liked the shaping of how this guy turned out. One thing I did notice, because the amigurumis, a lot of them are kind of this general shaping of the like the bigger head and smaller body, like I guess the kawaii look, or the traditional amigurumi look where the head is really big. I was kind of assuming that all of the plushies from the book would turn out about the same size, but the Loch Ness Monster, I don't think technically that it's that much smaller than the jackalope, but there's definitely a size difference where they don't quite turn out evenly. So I'm curious with some of the other patterns in the book if that's going to continue to be true, or if they're all going to be kind of the jackalope size and shape, because a lot of them have a more similar body construction to this guy than to the Loch Ness Monster, which makes sense. The Loch Ness Monster is very like dinosaur looking, so it makes sense that that one would have a totally different body construction. My other finished piece, I didn't do like a full vlog for this, but I did post it on TikTok a couple weeks ago. Was this only like 2 weeks? I don't even know anymore. But I made it kind of just on a whim one day because I was feeling the need to do something like kind of unstructured and creative. So I decided to do some freeform crochet, which if you haven't done freeform crochet or haven't heard of it, it basically means you don't use a pattern. You just pick up yarn, pick up colors wherever you feel like it, include whatever stitches you feel like doing, and just keep building off of your piece. So for mine, I started with this bright corally pink spot and then did the turquoise around it. I did some popcorn stitches with this dark teal, and I was trying to just vary my stitches so that I would get some texture to it. That's why you have these little things here that stick out. I did realize this kind of looks like an eye with eyelashes with the way that I did it, but I was just kind of doing whatever I felt like. I just picked a palette of yarn from my scrap bin, which all the colors I used are also in the tassels, and just kind of went with it. And I attached this to a piece of cardboard that I got, I think, for a classroom project, which means it's really old and still in my craft supply stash, but I believe they were actually cake stand things. Like, I think they're the cardboard that you put like between layers of cake or at the base of a cake to frost it so that you can slide it onto another tray. But I got them for doing some classroom decor, like at this point probably 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe only 3 years ago, because I feel like I maybe used them in a YouTube video, but I can't remember. But I still have a bunch of them left over. So I created my piece until it was big enough to cover the cardboard, and then I actually colored the cardboard underneath. I'll peel the stitches apart so you can see, just so that the like bright white wasn't showing through. I did it like a mauvey pink color. And then on the back I made a tiny circle and then kind of just stitched the main piece to the backing piece and pulled it tight, almost like how you'd finish off an embroidery hoop. But I actually got the technique from the fairy wings that I did a while ago. They had kind of a similar process to get the center motifs into the wing and stitching them onto the wing. So I just kind of used the same idea, then added the tassels at the bottom. So I'm hoping to hang this somewhere on the wall down here, but I kind of want to create my collection of items that I want to hang before I hang anything so that I can play with the placement. But I think I'm going to do some more like yarn craft art for down here. I have a bunch of like random granny squares that I might stitch together and hang up somewhere that I made a while ago that are also all like brightly colored. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But it was a fun experiment. I did do it all in one day. In hindsight, I probably should have vlogged it because it would have been a cool process to show, but I also think it's something that I'm going to do again. So I'll just save that video for another time. Let's move on to what I'm working on. So I have cast on, I believe, all of the projects I said I wanted to start in my winter knitting plans podcast episode, which I think was the previous one to this one, except for my burgundy sweater, which the yarn for it is sitting right back there. And that was because I needed to order a pair of needles for that because I didn't have the size needles in the like length of cord that I needed to do that cardigan. I tried to get them from my local yarn store. I really wanted that to work out because I'd prefer to support the local yarn store, but they were all out of the size that I needed. So I just ordered them on Amazon and I'm waiting for those to come. But in the meantime, I think I have cast on everything else that I said I was going to do. So the first one I did was, or I think chronologically this was not the first one I cast on, but it's the first one I'm going to show you. I started doing a scarf with yarn that I got from the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival. This was the Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm bubble sock from their Lord of the Rings collection in the color Bag End. This is what it looks like caked up. So it's a lot of like warm yellows and golds and beiges with like some green, teal, and burgundy thrown in there as well. I brought this to my craft group that I meet with once a month. Gotta get the bag resituated. I brought this to my craft group that I meet with once a month and was working on it there because it's just stockinette and I don't really need to think about it. And some of the ladies next to me were looking at the colors, and one of them said it looked really Christmassy and the other one said it looked very like fall looking. So I kind of like that because that means it'll work for both. And I think this will be a great scarf to add to my collection. I also like the plain stockinette stitch for this because it really lets the colors stand out instead of like your eyes being drawn to a pattern. So I'm kind of glad I went for a plain scarf with this one. This is showing up more gray than green on camera, but it is like a pretty grassy green and a deep teal with those like golds and reds and burgundies. But I really like this colorway. I'm excited to have it in my wardrobe for cooler months coming up, and I'm just keeping that in my Vera Bradley ditty bag, which I think I've talked about on this channel before, but I got 2 of these as gifts many years ago. They're meant to put dirty shoes in your suitcase while traveling because the inside is water resistant, but I find that they're the perfect size for knitting projects, and then you can roll the top down and it works as like a knitting bucket instead so that the top is open, and I really like the double function of that. So this is kind of my easy project for right now. It'll probably eventually be my read and knit project, but I'm currently not working on an ebook. I did just get one from the library where my hold came in, so I'll probably start that soon. But I also have other projects that I like not need to prioritize. One of them I do kind of need to prioritize, so we'll talk about that one next. I did end up frogging my previous item that I was working on in this colorway because I didn't like the crescent shape of the shawl I was making. This is the Hobby Lobby handspun yarn that I've had for a while. It's in the color, what's it called? Hibiscus Palm. Let me know in the comments if this is happening at your Hobby Lobby, but mine took down all of the hooks for the handspun or hand-dyed yarn that they had out, and it's now in bins, and there's only like 2 or 3 colors left. So I think maybe they're getting rid of that line entirely, but I'm not sure. These were, I don't think I got them on clearance, but I got them on one of the like 30% off yarn days. And I really like the colors. I just didn't like what I was working on with it. I started off with a crescent shawl, and as I was working on it, I kind of remembered that I've tried to do a crescent shawl before and I don't like how it sits when it's done. It ends up very curly. The edge that you start with, I guess, you know, like on a triangle shawl you have the edge that like you started in the middle and you worked out. That edge on a crescent shawl, so kind of the like the inner U-shaped part, always ends up really, really tight. So as I was working on this, I noticed that happening again, and I just decided to frog the whole thing because I don't want to spend the time on a piece that I know I won't wear. So I went ahead and frogged it and decided to try a rectangle shaped shawl instead, just because I don't have one in my wardrobe and I wanted something that I could wear both as a shawl or scrunch it up as a scarf if I needed to. So I started the Stitch Sampler shawl. I have it up on my computer so I can tell you. I don't remember who it's by because it doesn't say it on the pattern itself. I'll have to find the pattern and link it below. It's called the Stitch Sampler Shawl, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I've got the first few rows in. It is quite long because it's knit horizontal. But basically every few rows you switch stitch pattern that you're using. Hence why it's called the Stitch Sampler Shawl. I did double the number of stitches because I'm using a thinner weight yarn than the original pattern, and I have more yardage available. So I just doubled the amount of stitches. I figured if it's not exactly the same as the pattern, I'm okay with that. But you can see we have those eyelet rows at the bottom. Then there's a like slip rib section. I don't know what that stitch is called, but it looks really cool. And now I'm working on this pattern where it's going to make like little waves with dropped stitches, which I've never done that before. So I was excited to try that technique. And I haven't really looked ahead in the pattern, so I don't know what other stitches are coming up, but I was excited to try something different, and I'm much happier with the current results than I was with the crescent shawl. And I haven't gotten to I still have like some ramen noodle yarn down here from where I frogged the old one. But I seem to be making enough progress that I will be able to get a pretty good size shawl with the amount of yarn that I have, which I'm happy about. So that's that project, and the reason why it's higher priority is I actually want to wear it to a wedding that we're going to in November for one of my friends. And I even treated myself to a new dress that's in the same Amazon order as the needles that I'm waiting on, which actually I think it did arrive in the boxes upstairs, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. I treated myself to a new dress because I wanted something that would be kind of a fall color, but that I could still rewear it to other events. So I ended up finding one that was mustard yellow and has some like textured designs on it. So it'll look cute with like some more fall accessories because of the color. But that shawl also has mustard yellow in it. And with the like deep teal and the burgundy, it kind of like pulls those colors together a little bit. I also really like bringing shawls to weddings, even if it's like too warm out to actually wear it, because it's a great way to like mark your seat instead of like putting a jacket over your chair. It also just makes it really easy to find your spot at the tables. So I usually try to bring something with me that I can do that with, whether it's like the little like pashmina scarves that I think everybody has in their closet, or it's a knit or crocheted shawl. So that one I do kind of need to make some progress on in order for it to be done for the wedding, which is in like about a month. It's towards the end of November, but before Thanksgiving. So I do need to make some progress on that one. The other project that I cast on was my cardigan I'm making with the Lion Brand mandala. And I decided I wanted to do a mosaic knit cardigan and alternate yarn cakes. So the two yarn cakes that I purchased don't start with the same color in the middle. You can see I've already started with this one. So if I do a mosaic pattern, and it's a mosaic pattern that uses both yarns pretty equally, I should be able, it should work out that I never get the same color from both skeins at the same time, if that made any sense at all. I have only done the ribbing so far on this. I think I'm going to keep it a pretty short ribbing because I want to start the pattern right away. And I am using the same sizing directions as for this cardigan that I'm wearing. So this cardigan obviously has an all over cable and seed stitch pattern to it, but I liked the sizing guide. So I actually went one size down from this cardigan, just because this one is very, very oversized, and while I still want this one to fit a little bit oversized, I don't need it as big. So I went down one size, but basically I'm using the like cast on directions and the shaping directions, but putting my own stitch pattern in. Also haven't tried this before. Don't know if it's going to work, but I think it should because there are no increases or decreases in the body. It's just the sleeves that decrease. So I will probably make the sleeves plain stockinette stitch so that it'll just have the stripes and not the all over pattern. But I'm not sure yet. Or I might do a different pattern on the sleeves than on the body. That would be fun too. I'm kind of just using this as an experimental piece. I do think I'm going to wear it because I'm a substitute teacher. I can wear rainbow cardigans if I want to. But I am kind of looking at this more as a let's make a big mosaic knit piece and see how it goes project. I have a bunch of like photocopied mosaic knit stitch patterns that a librarian made copies for me because of a class that I took at the library. So I'm kind of debating between two stitch patterns and I'm not sure which one I want to do. This is the first option. So kind of the like wavy, they're not really chevrons, but the like bumpy zigzags, if that makes sense. Here's kind of a closer up look of the sample. And then, where's the other one that I wanted? I think it was, yeah, it was this one that I was looking at. The like really deep zigzag patterns. So I think either way, I'm going to get kind of a similar effect because those are not super different from each other. I think I am going to go with this one though because there's fewer rows in the repeat. So it'll be a little easier to memorize over time, I think. But I picked that pattern or those two patterns because they use about equal amounts of both colors. I think. They look like they should use equal amounts of both colors because they're the same, about the same area covered by each color. So hopefully that'll work out. And then I can do the sleeves either plain or in like a simple polka dot mosaic stitch or something like that, just to make it a little easier to do the sleeve decreases. And yeah, that's the plan for that cardigan. So I should get some sort of a crazy rainbow-ish patterned cardigan. It's probably going to end up giving like Lisa Frank vibes. Even though it's not like neon colors, they're very like dusty, muted rainbow colors. But I do feel like that's the vibe we're going to end up getting if we have two rainbows going in this like wavy pattern. So it'll be definitely an experiment to knit that. But I think that's it for my updates, whips, what I'm working on, all that stuff. So that's going to be it for this podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you here, and please leave a like or a comment if you have the time. It really helps get my videos out to more people so that we can all share the crafty goodness. If you'd like to follow me on other forms of social media, that information will also be in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone!